Hey guys, today I want to talk about something I usually don't talk about that much. We have touched on it in the past, and I'm going to go into this a little bit deeper today because at times there's people here that need help or they need to get home. We have people here that are on the low budgets. They don't have any savings on the side. They've spent their savings. Their girlfriend has either finagled it out of them or they've put it into a house or what have you. There's many reasons why they've spent their money or whatever. And it can be quite rough sometimes, and some of us run into health problems, or we just decide that the Philippines is not for us and we want to get out of here or whatever. And it happens more often than a lot of us think. And I'm going to get into a lot of the help that we do have, especially for veterans. For non-veterans, not so much. This is more for veterans. Some of it will help non-veterans. I'm going to talk about the repatriation loan, things like that today, and I'm also going to talk about help that you can get back home. The Veterans Administration does have a lot of help if you call them, but I'm going to get into some state-funded help in a lot of states too. So let's get on with this. Here's the first thing that you need to know, that there is a thing called a repatriation loan. You can go into the embassy, and as long as they call 3 people, whether it be in your family, friends, or whatever, and they say that they cannot help you, then you are pretty much all set and you will be given the repatriation loan to get you back to the States. They take away your passport. They'll give you documents to get back into the States. The only way you get your passport back when you get back to the States is by paying off the loan and taking care of all that. So that's the way the repatriation loan works. It used to be you went to window 1 for the repatriation loan, and it's fairly simple to get. You need to go in there and talk to them and ask them all the questions. It's pretty easy. I've taken somebody up to that window before, and it's just a matter of going up to the window and telling them what you that you want to go back home, and they call 3 people. They have you fill out some documents. It usually takes a little while. It could take up to a month or less, maybe more, depending on your case and how quickly they get in touch with these people. But anyway, once you're back, I want to get into what happens when you get back to the States, because a lot of guys here, they don't have any families back home, or they have broken families and they're not close with anybody in their family. Some people do have family members, kids and stuff. They can stay with the kids or whatever, or brothers or sisters or cousins or what have you. And that's great for those people because they can at least try to get their feet back on the ground, try to get into some housing. I would recommend that people call the Veterans Administration and ask them what kind of help you can get for homeless vets. Okay, that would be the first thing I would tell you to do. The second thing is, there's a thing called soldiers' homes back home. A lot of these soldiers' homes are for people. A lot of people think that these are almost like nursing homes, which a lot of them are, but a lot of them are not. And a lot of people believe that there's no openings for residents there. Now, residents would be people like you or I who are still fairly functional. We don't need a bed, and be taken care of by a nurse or whatever. But we still might be sickly or whatever, need some help. Now, there are places like in Massachusetts, New York, I believe in New York, and there's many other states that have these. These soldiers' homes are for people like veterans like us, but they also have the residential section. The residential section, some of these places charge $10 a day to stay there, and they give you 3 meals a day. Okay, 3 meals a day. There's been this talk that these places don't have any openings, and in most cases, nothing could be further from the truth in some states. I called one state, and there was 25 openings, okay, in this particular place. And as long as you can get residency in that state, and that might take you anywhere from a week to 3 weeks. If you know somebody there, it could be faster. If you apply for a license there, some places will give you a license as a homeless person there, and that'll give you residency there. And then you can just go into these places, because most of these soldiers' homes require state residency there. Okay, so you have to get that residency, and that's tough when you're broke, because you need to either get an ID there or what have you, proving you are who you are. And if you don't have your passport, guess what? You have a problem. So you need some sort of IDs, birth certificates, whatever else you need to get. You need to go do some homework online first and see what it takes to get at least a state ID or something in that state. You're going to have to make some phone calls. You're going to have to do some homework, but at least this will clue you in as to what you need. I can't tell you everything what each state needs, but I'm trying to get you clued in as to what to do to get that help. Now, the VA can be a huge help on some of this stuff, and there's also people in each state. If you lived there before, whatever, sometimes they can help you. There's veterans advocates, veterans people. You can also talk to social workers at the VA or whatever and ask them for some sort of help to get you into these places or what have you. That's pretty easy to do because most Veterans Administration hospitals or VAs have social workers that will help you and try to get you into some housing. And most VA hospitals, sometimes they have residency there. People, they allowed to stay there, sometimes on a permanent basis or sometimes not so permanent, it might be just temporary or whatever. I do not recommend going into a homeless shelter. I do recommend taking care of business before you go back home, because let's say you're on 1,000 or 1,500, you can live easier over here on that than you can back in the States, let's face it. So you need to get all your ducks in a row before you go back. Some of these places want you to have bring in something showing that the electric bill is in your name in some sort of home or whatever, and that shows residency. Okay. So once you have the residency thing, you're pretty much all set. If you could use your sister's address, if she puts the electric bill in your name or whatever, and for 2 months, maybe you could live there or something to try to get your residency there, and then you'd be all set. But you need to do this stuff to make sure that you're all set on this. You need to somehow work this out. You may need to call the electric company and have it switched over to your name or whatever. They may ask you for some things, and you can usually email those to them or whatever. Most of the time they just say, hey, listen, I want to email this to you. I'm actually out of the country right now. So you can put my name on there. Or you can have your sister or brother do it. Then it means that the bill's going to get sent there. You could put your name in care of, then your sister or whatever. You could have that as the mailing address. Okay, so that way there, everything gets sent to that house. She continues to pay the bill, or he continues to pay the bill, whoever it may be. And then you're all set. That's for your residency. These soldiers' homes are all throughout the country, and they can be a great help for you to get your feet back on the ground and get started, and a good place to seek help. There's also many other factors. When you're homeless, you can get help through the VA. So especially when you're retired, if you're not making a minimum amount, you can get some sort of help. There's help out there, but you really have to seek it out and find out what these programs are. And there's so many different programs out there. It may be worth calling up, because some of these things, you look at them and you think, well, that's too hard for me, or that's too difficult for me. And in reality, it's not that difficult. It may take some paperwork, may take some help from a veterans advocate or a social worker, a VA social worker to help you. And you can ask these VA social workers, hey, what kind of programs are out there for me? Some of them might not know about these programs, and it might be worth it for you to call DAV people, because some of these programs are little known programs, and you need to call these places and find out the names of these places. And some of them are just in certain states, some of them are federal, and you can get help from these places. Call. Don't be afraid to look for these things. Don't send me messages saying, hey, Steve, I need help on this. I have my own set of issues right now. I have things going on here that I have to take care of here. And I'm answering, constant emails and phone calls and stuff like that. So I really can't help people on this one here. This is something you have to get VA help, DAV, VFW help, social workers in the Veterans Administration. These are the people you need to call upon for help when you're going through these issues. Sometimes a lot of people say, and I want to repeat this, okay? I want to repeat this because this is very, very important. A lot of people say, Steve, I'm better off homeless in the Philippines or having a home over here and being poor over here than I am in the U.S. That's not totally true, okay? Because, like I said, some of these homes, what they got to offer you is for $10 a day, as little as $10 a day at some of these places. At least you get a room, a table, and a locker, and air conditioning, and a place to eat 3 times a day, and the camaraderie of a lot of other people around you, and making friends. They have, some of these places have canteens. They have a library. They have bingo and Beano and a church. Some of these places have all this on the grounds, and some of these places don't. Some of these places are just veterans housing or things like that. But the particular place that I'm thinking of is in Massachusetts, and it's a great place. But I want you guys to know that there's always help out there, especially you veterans out there. There's lots of help out there. Now, for you non-veterans, it gets a little tougher because, when you go back home, you're going to have to call upon family. You're going to have to call homeless advocates or whatever to try to get you housed or whatever. Veterans get housed a little bit easier. They can get more help. There's a lot of veterans programs out there. And some of the states that you might choose, you'd be surprised if some of the more liberal states probably will help you a little bit more with some of that stuff. More so than the conservative states. The conservative states have places like that too, but I've noticed that some of the liberal states have a lot more to offer. Now, I'm not sure about California. California, I've heard, does not have that much help there for veterans. Most of the East Coast states do. Okay, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, places like that do have these soldiers' homes. New York. I believe New Jersey does too. I'm not sure about New Jersey. I'm not sure about Delaware and Maryland. I'm not that familiar with those states. But just, guys, you got to do your homework on this stuff. And please don't call me or email or text me about this stuff, because I really can't help you more than what I've said. I know a lot of places you can go to. In Massachusetts, there is help there. And there is a lot in Maine too, because I've looked into Maine a little bit too, and they have some veterans programs and housing and things like that there that they can help you with. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope that helps you guys, because some of you guys that are really on the low ball Social Security things, at some point you should know about this stuff, because you may need that help. And the good thing about, if you check into some of these soldiers' homes, sometimes there's a hospital on the ground. So if you get sick, there might be a 1-year waiting period to get in there. But at least you can get in there. And if there is a 1-year waiting period, and you check into a VA hospital, because let's say and you go in there and you stay there, then you can stay there till you get into the soldiers' home itself and get the full-time care and nursing care there that they offer. There's so much out there for veterans, and veterans tend to downplay this stuff, and they say, no, they're not going to do this for me. It depends on who you call. It really depends on who you call out there. And you really got to follow this stuff up and put people to work for you, and do work yourself. I've had a lot of people contact me telling me, hey, Steve, they have this out there, they have that out there. You can get 24 months of housing and stuff like that. And if you guys know of any of this stuff, please add it into my comments there of anything that you guys know of, and I'll pin it or leave it in there so other people will know about these programs. But there are programs, and let us know which state it's in also. I really would like to help people in the Philippines that may have to go back or ready to go back, because there's a ton of people out there, and they contact me sometimes when they're down and out and tell me, hey, Steve, I need help with this here. I set them up with some of the programs out there and tell them what's available, and they got to do the rest of the homework, call their states, see if there's a soldier's home or what have you. And some of the states do have these homes, but some don't have any availability, so you may have to look into another state and then get your residency there. But that's about the best I can help you on this stuff, guys. I hope that helps a little bit. At least it clues you into what to look for, who to talk to, what calls you have to make, what you have to do, repatriation loans, all this stuff. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope that helps you guys. God bless. Take care.